What's up guys, this is Chris here, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 best shooting micro 9mm pistols. Now the micro 9mm has been the #1 category of firearms in the last few years. Ever since the P365 there has been an absolute tidal wave of small little 9mm pistols with tons of capacity, and now we're getting them with all kinds of cool features that make them more and more shootable every single time. In the old days, if you got a small handgun, it had to be a 22 or maybe a 25 auto, but nowadays you can get very small 9mm pistols that you can carry all day. And not only that, but they come with features like optics mounts and comps and nice triggers, so you can shoot them accurately even at distance. Now I'm gonna pick the 5 best shooting 9mm pistols we've ever had on the channel, and we've had most of them, so hopefully you enjoy and hopefully you find something that is right for you. Now all these guns are going to be reliable, they're all going to be accurate, but most of all they're going to be fun to shoot, and easy to hit with, even though they're very tiny and a capable caliber in 9mm. All the capacity you need to keep shooting at the range, have tons of fun, and protect yourself. Before we get into the video, I do want to mention my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys very much for buying all the ammunition for the videos. We really appreciate you. And if you want to support the channel, it's the best way to do it. Just go to the link in this description and every video and sign up. Also in that description is a link to a local shelter, the YSS. We really appreciate your guys' support. You guys keep donating to them. They're a youth shelter in Ames, Iowa, and I hope you continue to do so. Again, the donate page is in the description.
And finally, we'd like to thank the sponsor of this video, TacPack. It is a monthly subscription box, kind of like a sampler platter of gear shipped to you every month. TacPack has 2 main tiers, the standard and the plus. New subscribers can use the code HONESTOUTLAW and get a free extra box of tactical gear worth at least $60. This freebie ships ASAP and separately from your regular TacPack. So remember to use code HONESTOUTLAW for your free $60 tactical box.
That's 50 bucks well spent right there. That's my favorite charging handle, so that's lucky.
Thank you so much to TacPack for sponsoring this video.
Now, why would you want a micro 9mm like this? Well, first off, it is easy to carry all day because it's so small, so light, that you're gonna forget you even have it. Now, that's really important because if it's too big and heavy to carry, you're just gonna leave it at home anyway, and you're not gonna have it at all. There's that old saying that the 22 mag in your pocket is better than the 45 you left in the truck. In this modern day and age, you can have a 9mm that's the same size, so why not? Now, having a gun on you is important, but being able to hit the stuff you're aiming at is important too, which is why these guns should matter to you. They're great for concealed carry and they're good enough for home defense, so it's kind of a 2-in-1. Now all that being said, let's get right into it with number 5, the Glock 48. Now the old Glock 48 came out around 4 or 5 years ago with the 43X. It is the 4-inch version of the 43X with the traditionally 10-round capacity grip and standard features. However, the new one has come out recently and it has a light rail, which I like a lot. That adds capability and it adds shootability. If you add a light to it, it adds a little bit of weight out front, which lowers the recoil. Now we have a dot on top as well, which is going to increase your capability at distance. Dots are just a little bit easier for people to use. I know people debate that, but if you started on iron sights and get used to a dot, you're going to be pretty good. If you start on dots, you're going to be really happy. It's just one point of aim, and you're able to threat focus easier and able to transition targets a little bit easier, so the dot certainly helps. But what makes this so shootable is that it has a little bit bigger grip than your traditional micro 9, and it is a little bit easier to draw because of that, and a little bit easier to bear down on the gun. Now due to the grip angle of the Glock, you have to break your grip over a little more, which adds a little more recoil control in my personal opinion. Now add to that the porting that I got from Monsoon Tactical, and you have a very shootable platform.
Actually stays down pretty well with the ports.
Nice.
This gun, even in its stock configuration, is extremely shootable and very light recoil, even without the porting, for a standard micro 9mm pistol, and I think this is one of the better versions of the micro 9 you can buy aside from the shootability. The Glock 48 gives you that 4-inch barrel, gives you a little bit better ballistics, a little bit better velocity, well without the porting anyway, and it gives you a longer sight radius if you're running iron sights, so it allows you to hit your targets a little bit better at distance. The 48 is also extremely reliable and very, very proven, and on top of that you can get the Shield 15-round magazines, giving you a 15-round magazine capacity in a gun that is very small and very lightweight. Now along Along with that 4-inch barrel and that 15 round magazine capacity, the gun only weighs 20 ounces and it's only 1 inch wide. So you can carry it all day, barely notice, and you can shoot out to 100 yards and you can shoot really fast and handle any threat that you need to, only for a price of around $500. Add that to the fact that you get the Glock track record, all the holsters and accessories that are very common with Glock, and I'd say it's a solid pick for number 5. In at number 4 is the Hellcat Pro Comp. Now, the Hellcat made a pretty big splash about 5 years ago or so when it came out as one of the first competitors to the P365. Since then, it's had quite an evolution as a pistol, as you can see here. This is the largest version of the Hellcat that you can buy. It has a 3-inch barrel with a 4-inch slide with a single port comp in the front to help you control recoil. It also comes with a direct milled optic, which is pretty cool, and then it comes with a huge capacity for a Micro 9 of 17 to 19 rounds, depending on what magazine you buy, which is very, very cool. It is, again, very thin and very light, just like the Glock 48, but it comes with even more features right out of the box, which puts it slightly higher up in my personal opinion. First off, the grip has tons of texture on it, so it's really easy to hold on to it. It has finger grooves, but they do fit most people, and it makes the grip feel really comfortable and allows you to grip down on that and vise down on that little Micro 9 and shoot it really quickly. It has a pretty good trigger as well, as you can see here, around a 5.5 to 6 pound pull with a decent reset, which allows you to get those shots off relatively quickly. But what really is the star of the show is going to be that single port comp, which helps control the recoil of this 20-ounce pistol relatively well. 17 rounds, 20 ounces of 9mm with only 1 inch wide, and you can shoot it super quickly. It has front slide serrations on it. It has really good sights out of the factory. If you don't want to run a dot, you're completely good. You have the HD front with a U-notch rear, which is going to work great, at least out to 50 yards. Good accuracy and good recoil control on this, partly because of the comp, partly because of the grip, but even though it's a really light pistol, it can be shot very, very effectively, and that's why it's on the list. Now, I think this is going to be a good bit more expensive than the Glock 48. At around $699, I think it's a good price for what you get, because if you bought just a stock gun and you had a lot of this stuff done to it, it would cost you more than that anyway, and why not get it from the factory so you know it's going to work well. The trigger on this is good, the grip is good, the slide feels really good when you run it back, and coming with 117 and 119 round magazine, I think it's a pretty good deal for what it is. Certainly fast, certainly accurate, and a solid carry gun. In at number 3, we have the SIG P365 Spectre Comp. Now, this is the Gold series, but you can get the Coyote as well. We've had them both, and we decided that we like this version slightly better just because of the color. Now, this is my wife's personal carry gun, so I'm sure you've seen this before, but this is a 3-inch barreled SIG P365 with a 4-inch slide with an integrated comp in the slide, which is a little bit different technology than what you get on the comped Hellcat, because this one doesn't go through the barrel, it's just a comp slide. So you have a little less compensation, but a little more theoretical reliability, and the gun doesn't get quite as dirty in my personal opinion. We have really cool slide cuts on the gun. We have a front HD with a blacked out rear, and then we have a direct milled Shield RMS or EPS carry dot mount there for you to put your dot on. Now, this gun is going to be the smallest, or at least close to the smallest on the list. It has a flush fit 12 round mag, and they come with 15 and 17 round mags depending on what you get. This is kind of a performance gun, so it has the extra texture on it, which feels really good as well. A very small grip, and this gun is very light. I think this is around 17 or 18 ounces, but the MSRP on this is going to be fairly expensive at around $1,200. Now, I think it's personally worth it because it has a really good trigger. It's super, super small, and it shoots like this.
I actually like that trigger a lot too.
It's fucking fast. You can add lights to these if you get the TLR sub, which goes to this kind of janky ass light rail here. The trigger is really, really good. I'll show you that here. And this is the fire control unit from SIG. So if you don't like anything on the gun, you can replace it a la carte because the fire control unit is the serialized part. You can pop that out and pop it in any grip and slide that you want. Although this is one of the best grips and one of the best slides, so it would be pretty difficult to do any better than that. 2 magazines, 3-inch barrel, 1 inch wide, solid carry gun. It really depends on the ergonomics of what you want between a lot of these guns. This one is very small and the grip is very small. So if you're looking for a very tiny Micro 9 that can still shoot out to 100 yards, this is a really good bet. Now, what's important about this gun is you can absolutely dump rounds up close, which is what you are probably going to need to do in real life if you ever have to use it. So I think that this is a solid carry gun for close range and distance. And the fact that it is very small, very light, certainly gives it a spot on this list as well. Now, in at number 2, my personal carry gun, this is my Shield Plus Performance Center. Now, this guy comes right out of Floyd Custom. He threw the dot on there for me, but there are dot options available now with the new performance comp from Smith & Wesson. So if you want to get a similar package from Smith, but just with a 4-inch, you can do that. This one here is super tiny, and I carry this guy all the time. Probably the most performance for size to weight ratio that I've ever had in a handgun, which is why I carry it. Super, super reliable, super accurate, and super fast. It is a polymer frame striker fired pistol like the previous 3, and it has one of the best triggers of all the guns on this list that I can show you here. I absolutely love the new 2.0 trigger in these Shield Plus Performance Centers. Really, really good. Now, the star of the show on this guy is going to be the 3-inch ported barrel. So even shorter and smaller than the previous configurations, but you still have that porting, and you still have good recoil control because the Shield has very low recoil impulse compared to even all the other guns on the list. Now, I got my slide and dot mount from Floyd Custom, which I really, really enjoy, and the gun from the factory comes with the fiber optic front and the fiber rear, although I replaced it with a blacked out rear because I don't like all that clutter. You can get safety models or not. This one happened to be a safety model that I didn't even notice, and I just never use the safety. I believe you can remove them anyway. Now, what I like about the Performance Center versions over the stock is A, you get the porting, and B, you get this awesome texture on the grip. The Shields have a little bit lighter texture than the M&P Compact like 2.0s, but the Performance Centers have the same texture, which I really appreciate because I like to grip that gun and shoot it as fast as possible. Now, you can have the option of doing a 10, a 12, or a 15 round magazine. Personally, I carry the Flush Fit 10, and I carry a couple 15 round magazines in my truck and one in my pocket. So I have plenty of capacity if I need to, and I can shoot these very quick up close, sub 1.5 second build drills with this bad boy, and then I can shoot over 100 yards at distance, allowing me all the capability of a full-size gun in a tiny, tiny little sub 20-ounce package that only is 3 inches long and stupid reliable. Now, the cool thing about this is unlike the P365, which is going to cost you around $1,200, and the FDE version is around, I think, $1,000. This one here, you can get right out of the gate for around 600 bucks without the optics mount. If you just want to run the iron sight, you can get it for 600 bucks. I fucking love this gun. I can't say it enough. And if you get this, I bet you'll be pretty happy with it. Now, if you're trying to decide between this and maybe a P365, really the biggest difference is a little bit less recoil, a little bit smaller grip, and a little bit bigger grip on the Shield. So big guys like me and Bubs generally like the Shield, whereas my wife carries the P365. All right, now there's not gonna be any honorable mentions for this video because we do plan on doing another list very similar to this. So with that being said, let's get right to the star of the show, the Staccato CS. Now, it perplexed me to put this at number 1 because it is a lot more expensive than most of the guns on this list. However, it is the best shooting, and that is the list after all. So here we are. If you are looking for the best shooting micro 9mm pistol, in no doubt in my mind, it is the Staccato CS. The Staccato CS is not a polymer frame striker fired gun like all the other ones. It is a true 2011 from Staccato. We have a 3-inch barrel with an optics mount right from the factory. We have fiber optic front with a blacked out rear, which is very cool. They are raised, so if you run an optic, you do co-witness it. I have actually had a couple things done to mine. This is straight out of Skip's Guns. He put a new trigger face in here, and then he also comped my gun for me as well. But trust me, you don't need that to go fast. 2011s are the fastest platform that you can get on the market today, and this is the tiniest one that you can get, at least that I'm aware of. This is the smallest gun in Staccato's lineup, and I like Staccato a lot because not only do they make high performance guns, but their guns are very, very reliable as well. Probably the most reliable 2011 pistol that I've ever had, and we've had all of them. I think I've actually reviewed every single pistol that Staccato has ever had, and we haven't had a problem with any of them. I do carry a Shield, but what protects my house is a Staccato. I fucking love Staccato, and I really like this pistol, but it is very expensive. These guns come in at $2,000 and $2,500 with the optic system, but what you get out of it is extreme performance. You get a really, really good grip. You get a fucking phenomenal trigger, as you can see here. ooh my God, like a 3.5 pound trigger, and then the reset on this is so short and so fast that you can shoot this just as fast as a full-size gun. I wouldn't be shocked if you brought this out on the range and you outshot like a Glock 34 or an M&P 2.0 full-size, just simply because of the trigger and the ergonomics. This gun absolutely fucks on the range. It is crazy fast. Front slide serrations in the front are very usable, and the rear is very usable as well. The grip texture is awesome. The controls are amazing and ambi. So if you're right-handed, if you're left-handed, no problem. You have a safety on either side, and you also have that grip safety to protect your junk. The magazine release is swappable, and the gun does come with two 16-round magazines, and there are 18-round magazines available. So you have plenty of capacity in your Micro 9 to deal with any situation that you would need. Even at Dickinson distances, you are absolutely good to go with the Staccato CS. Add to the fact that it isn't much bigger and heavier than the rest of the guns, but it shoots so good. I mean, you're talking about a 3-inch barrel. It's a little over 1.25 inches wide, and I think the guns weigh around 20 to 22 ounces. Now, I would say that this is probably the most premium Micro 9 you can get, and if you're looking for speed and accuracy in these 3-inch Micro 9 category, this is probably the best you're gonna get. But if you can't afford that, I totally understand. I personally carry a Shield anyway, although I have been carrying this a lot lately because I do own it now, and it's really, really fun. But you can't go wrong with any of these pistols. All these pistols are premium guns from premium brands. All of them have been personally tested by me. All of these I would recommend for concealed carry, and honestly, they would all do home defense in a pinch as well. So I think you should just go to the gun store. You should find out which one fits you the best, which one fits in your price range, which one you can get magazines and holsters for, and don't spend too much on the gun. Buy 1,000 rounds of ammunition and go out and shoot that Micro 9, because your Micro 9 is going to be the hardest gun you have to shoot. Most people carry a tiny little gun and they shoot a big gun on the range, and it just simply doesn't translate. So practice with your teeny little gun, practice with that little noisy cricket you carry, and that way you can actually hit some stuff when the time counts. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.